What if the most democratic part of modern democracy, the parliament, has become the cage that keeps the people out? What if the next upgrade isn't a new political party, but a new operating system for the entire republic? We vote, we wait, we watch. Then we're told to wait 4 more years. Meanwhile, lobbyists write the laws, party discipline writes the votes, and citizens are reduced to spectators. Political science even has a name for this: the iron law of oligarchy, the tendency for organizations to drift toward rule by the few. A genuine republic must confront that drift, not excuse it. This video is about Cyber Republic, a blueprint to put lawmaking back in citizens' hands, with safeguards, audits, and real accountability. This isn't a vibe. It's a system. The proposition is simple: modern identity verification, cryptography, and structured debate platforms can let citizens propose, deliberate, vote, audit, and revise laws directly, all while protecting minorities and keeping a paper trail for security. This isn't about copying authoritarian speed. It's about creating legitimacy you can audit, not just market. It's direct lawmaking, plus strong safeguards, plus paper audit security. Parliaments were built for an era of slow horses and slower mail. They were a necessary bridge when distance made direct democracy impossible. But that bridge has become a toll gate. Elections feel like theater. Bills that few people read become laws for millions. And when crowds object, the chamber votes anyway. The result? Disconnection, elite capture, and citizens who feel like spectators rather than participants. If representation was a temporary fix for a logistical problem, it's time for an update without breaking the constitutional rights that protect us from each other. So, how does the Cyber Republic work? Here's the core loop up front, no magic. It starts with proposal submission. Any citizen or group can submit a clear proposal under their verified identity. No anonymous manipulation in the official lawmaking space. Next is identity verification. A secure civic credential authenticates participation, but a paper ballot remains available for anyone who needs or prefers it. Then comes the deliberation period. This is a structured, public debate with argument maps. Contributions are ranked by clarity and relevance, not just likes. You can also delegate your participation to trusted proxies, a concept called liquid democracy, and you can revoke that delegation at any time. After debate, we have impact analysis. Independent statisticians, economists, and affected communities publish neutral studies on the proposal's effects for everyone to read. Finally, the vote. You can vote online with secure protocols or in person on paper. It's a dual-path design. Every online vote generates a physically verifiable paper receipt, so the counts can always be audited. The audit and tally are transparent. The code is open source. Independent auditors, including citizens drawn by lot, verify both the electronic and paper tallies with a public ledger for all audits. But it doesn't stop there. There's continuous oversight. Policies get 2 live scores: a pulse score showing real-time public satisfaction, and a depth score tracking long-term results. If these scores get too low, it automatically triggers amendment or repeal processes. Propose, deliberate, vote, audit, score, and improve. That's the cycle. Social media rewards outrage. A republic must reward reason. Cyber Republic is designed to do just that. It uses argument mapping tools, like those used by VTaiwan, to find consensus on tough issues. It has diverse exposure mandates, meaning you must review the best counterarguments before you can vote. Facilitators, often selected by lottery, help summarize debates and keep them civil. And it requires investment in digital literacy and public access. Research is clear. Quality deliberation needs smaller interactions, time, and good moderation. So debates are nested. They start local, then go regional, then national, scaling reason without drowning people in noise. Direct democracy without guardrails is a recipe for trampling minorities. So, the design locks and critical safeguards. First, non-derogatable rights like freedom of conscience, equal treatment, and due process cannot be overruled by a simple majority vote. Changing them requires supermajorities and review by a constitutional court selected by sortition or random lottery. Second, fiscal equalization ensures wealthy regions contribute to a common pool so poorer regions aren't abandoned. Third, minority veto triggers. If an affected minority group flags a rights violation, the voting threshold gets higher or the bill goes back for revision, reviewed by a randomly selected, demographically balanced panel. These sortition courts and audit committees reduce the risk of capture, mirror society, and have already shown success in places like Ireland and France. The majority rules, but rights rule over the majority. Security experts rightly warn that no technology today can guarantee perfectly secure, secret, and verifiable mass online voting. We take that red flag seriously. That's why the Cyber Republic is hybrid by design. Paper remains the ultimate authority. Online votes produce paper receipts, and paper audits always prevail. The software is open source, with independent audits and public hacker Olympics to constantly test the system. Post-quantum cryptography is used only when it's peer-reviewed, with no IP. And to avoid malware, clean device voting stations are set up in public libraries and community centers. The rollout is slow, with pilots and gradual scaling. Evidence comes before promises. If the digital count doesn't match the paper count, the paper wins. It's time to flip the script. Instead of states scoring people, people should score the state formally, monthly, and with real consequences. Remember the two scores: pulse for sentiment and depth for long-term indicators. If both scores fall below a certain threshold for a sustained period, triggers are activated. This could mean revalidation votes, recalling a minister, or even revoking a law. This isn't just an opinion poll. It's institutionalized oversight. And to prevent knee-jerk populism, there are cooling-off periods, weighted metrics, and civic time capsules where you revisit your original reasons before making a final recall vote. The goal is reflection over rage, creating sustained accountability, not mob rule. A real nation isn't a single uniform mold. Cyber Republic maintains a national framework of core rights but empowers communities to legislate their own way of life. This allows for green cities, traditional villages, and diverse cultural regions to thrive, all within the red lines of constitutional rights and fiscal solidarity. It's a living mosaic, not fragmentation. The system is built on a foundation of national core rights, local self-rule, fiscal solidarity, and minority veto and mediation mechanisms. This isn't a Big Bang revolution. It's about piloting, proving, and then scaling. In the first 2 years, municipal pilots would handle local issues like budgeting and zoning, measuring participation and deliberation quality. In years 3 to 5, regional experiments with up to 5 million people would stress test the sortition courts and minority safeguards. From years 6 to 10, a parallel national system would run alongside the old one, allowing opt-in binding decisions on certain topics so we can compare outcomes. Full adoption would only happen after year 10, and only if trust, security, inclusion, and policy results all pass the bar. Otherwise, we stay hybrid. Evidence first. Ideology second. Let's answer the hard questions. Online voting will be hacked. That's why we have a hybrid system where the paper audit prevails. Dual path channels and citizen juries to review any breaches. People won't have time to vote on everything. That's why we have liquid democracy. You can delegate your vote by topic to someone you trust and revoke it instantly. You choose your level of engagement. Local autonomy will create fiefdoms. That's why we have national rights, fiscal equalization, and conflict resolution tribunals to keep the union cohesive. Tech elites will just replace political elites. Open source code, rotating citizen auditors, and the right to fork the platform keep power contestable. The critics aren't wrong to worry, but they don't get the last word. The last word belongs to the people. We refuse to bow to oligarchs or to machines. We recognize one another as equals, bound by shared rights, shared duties, and the courage to deliberate before we decide. We're not asking for perfect citizens. We're building structures that turn imperfect people into a thinking republic. If you want a government you can audit, not just admire, then like and subscribe. See you in the next video. Thanks for watching.